So we've got the off-season at the moment. There's a couple of exhibitions going on here and there over in America. But there is the entry list for the Australian Open. It has come out 6 weeks before the tournament. That's how these things work. And the entry list is like sort of the cutoff for the top 100 players who are, going to make the main draw without having to qualify. Let's go have a look at who has made the entry list, but also who is sort of at the top in the seeds at this stage. So we'll start with the top 8 or the top 10. Sabalenka, Swiatek, Gauff, and Anisimova. They'll be the top 4 seeds if the rankings stay the way they are going into the week before the Australian Open. Then you got Raducanu, Pegula, Keys, and Paolini. They round out the top 8, but again, that could change as we get closer to the Australian Open. But some of the players that are seeded at this stage, and that most likely will be seeded, someone like Osaka, who's the number 16 seed, that'll be fun to see. Mboko, another player that will be seeded in Australia. Zhang will also be seeded, number 24 seed at the moment, but her fitness is obviously a question. And Raducanu at 29, she looks like she might be seeded at the Australian Open as well, going in to the first slam of the year. Some of the players that are outside the seedings at this stage, someone like Lise, who obviously did really well this time last year in Australia, so we'll see if she can try and defend those points. Pliskova, she's coming back for the first time in a long time. She's on the entry list as well with a protected ranking, so that's good to see. We've got Maria Sakkari. She's also number 51 on the list at the moment, so she is on the entry list. Eala, she is also going to be playing her first main draw in Australia. Doesn't have to play qualifying. Krejcikova has also made the list at number 65. We know how dangerous she can be when she's on. So yeah, there is the entry list. It's going to be really interesting to see how the seeds work out, but also how some of those lower ranked players sort of outside the top 50, where they fall in the draw and who they might play in the second or third rounds of the Australian Open. So there it is. That is the entry list. It's really just a cutoff 6 weeks before a Grand Slam or before any event. They do a bit of a cutoff, and usually at a slam, it's the top 100. If you're in the top 100 6 weeks before a Grand Slam, you will make the main draw. You don't have to play qualifying. You don't need a wild card. Obviously, protected rankings are something that's coming into effect as well. We saw Pliskova there on the list with a protected ranking, which is good to see her back. But if your player wasn't on that list, they might have to play qualies, or they might get a wild card. A few of the wild cards have been given out, but they are still up for grabs. So maybe your favorite player who's not on that list, someone like a Katie Boulder, for example, she might need a wild card to get in, or she'll have to play qualies. So she's a big one and a big name that is out of the, that has fallen down lately and is in trouble of having to play qualies. Of course, if players pull out of that list I just showed you, then everybody gets bumped up. So if somebody in the top 50 does pull out, then the next person outside the top 100 will get into it and all that kind of thing. So there is obviously a lot of injuries around even at this time of year, but we'll see what happens. But let me know in the comments below, what are some of the early matches you want to see between some of those players outside the top 50 and some of those players inside the top 20? Someone like an Eala versus Swiatek is a rematch. They played a couple of times in 2025, and they were obviously really, really important matches and big matches, so that'd be kind of fun to see. Or maybe you want something else like a Krejcikova taking on Sabalenka or something like that, which could happen in an early stage. But there it is. That is the entry list for the Australian Open, and the draw will be coming out in about 5 or 6 weeks' time.